All right, so I would like to welcome everybody. Good afternoon. The purpose of this session is that we want to prepare tribal members both on the Coeur d'Alene Nez Perce Reservation for meeting with a law student who will help you draft your will. So in other words, we're kind of doing probate prep. So we're probate preppers. And what we have this summer, is we have a law student for the Coeur d'Alene Reservation and a law student for the Nez Perce Reservation. And these law students are going to help guide you through the wills making process. As you know, it's a little more complicated when you're dealing with reservation lands and trust lands and things like that. So we're working with the College of Idaho or University of Idaho College of Law. And I'm going to turn it over now to Dylan Hedden Nicely, who is a professor at the College of Law and who will introduce the wills interns who will be on the reservations this summer. Go ahead, Dylan.
Great. Thank you, Julie. As Julie mentioned, my name is Dylan Hedden Nicely. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. And I'm an associate professor here at the University of Idaho College of Law and the director of the Native American Law Program. And one of the things that we do each year with the Native Law Program is what we call the University of Idaho Indian Estate Planning Project. And that project was originally developed by Doug Nash, who's a Nez Perce tribal member, former tribal court judge. And he at one point was a professor here at the University of Idaho. And he developed this program to work with students under the supervision of a licensed attorney to develop wills and estate planning documents for tribal members on reservations throughout the Northwest. Professor Nash moved to Seattle University, and the program went with him. For the better part of a decade, he administered the program out of Seattle University. And he retired the same year that I started here in 2017. And SU asked if we wanted to take this project back over, and we were really happy to do that. And so for the last 3 years, we've been working with tribes around the Northwest, focusing in primarily on working with tribes in the region surrounding the University of Idaho. And we've had a really great long-standing relationship with the Nez Perce tribe and the Coeur d'Alene tribe. And so we're looking to do this program once again. The way that this program works is we have a student that is assigned to each reservation. One student, which will be Naomi Pierre-Toussaint, who I'll let introduce herself here in just a moment, will be assigned to the Coeur d'Alene Reservation, and Marisa Sayet City this year will be assigned to the Nez Perce Reservation. And they will work directly with you to develop a will and a couple of other estate planning documents to help make sure that your choices regarding where your personal and real property go are carried out in the event that you walk on. And so they will work directly with you. They work under the supervision of a licensed attorney. In this case, that supervisor is Aaron Repke for both the Coeur d'Alene and the Nez Perce Reservation this year. Aaron is a graduate of the College of Law, and he is currently based out of Moscow. So he's centrally located between the Coeur d'Alene and the Nez Perce Reservation. And so with that, what I would like to do is give Naomi and Marisa just a couple of moments to introduce themselves. And I'll start with Marisa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marisa Sayet. I'm from the Fort Peck Reservation in Montana. I also am half Navajo. I'm a rising 3L, and I worked with Nez Perce last summer, and it was a great opportunity to get introduced to the Nez Perce tribe, and I'm glad to be back down there working again. Thank you.
Hi, I am Naomi Pierre Toussaint, and I'm also a Rising 3L. Came to U of I from Denver, and I have a little bit of experience in estate documents, so I'm excited to work with tribal members and getting to know like estate planning a little more. I've never worked with tribal members before, so this is an exciting opportunity to learn as much as I can throughout this process. So very excited to meet everyone and looking forward to working with everyone.
Okay, I wanted to introduce myself. My name's Aaron Repke. I am the supervising attorney for both of the interns for both the Coeur d'Alene tribe and the Nez Perce tribe. We're sharing, Dylan, if you want to share that information, we're going to put some information up on the screen, giving you contact information for how you can get in touch with the interns.
It's up.
And so here's Naomi's contact information. And then we're going to have Marisa's up as well here.
I have it cycling on a 30 seconds, so everybody has time to write down Naomi's email address there. "30 seconds is always longer than you think, huh?" There it is. Oh. That's showing up.
Marisa's came up briefly, and then it went back to Naomi. There we go. All right, so there is the contact information for Marisa. So you have email for Naomi, you have an email for Marisa, you also have a phone number for Marisa. To get the process started, you can get in touch with them and they'll be able to steer you in the right direction from there. And so what I'd like to do is briefly just give you an expectation of what this process is going to look like. How many meetings will be involved, what you'll be covering in the meeting, and what information you'll need to bring to the meeting in order to be prepared for the meeting. And once you get in touch with one of the interns, the first step in this process is they're going to be sending you a questionnaire. And this questionnaire is going to be asking for some basic information about your family and your family members. And let me just bring that up briefly so that we can run through that. Okay. Give me a sec here.
While Aaron's working on that, I guess this is an opportune time to sort of talk about some of the logistical issues that we're facing in light of the coronavirus pandemic. In years past, we've always done this presentation live. We've gone to Clearwater Casino and have had the opportunity to meet in person. Everybody comes down and we do this presentation, and then we have the students actually placed physically on the reservation where they have an office and are available for tribal members to drop in really at any time or to set up a face-to-face meeting. This year, we're going to have to be a little bit more nimble. We expect that both interns will be able to physically be in their offices, depending on the situation. but also there may be, particularly in the beginning of the year, they may have to work remotely and communicate with you either through telephone or by email, or also through video conference, whichever you guys are most comfortable doing. And they can help you work through that process. If you want to have a face-to-face, and they can set up a Zoom meeting and explain to you how it works if you don't already know. If you prefer to talk over the telephone, you can make those arrangements. You saw Marisa's phone number, and then Naomi, you can email her, and then she can get in touch with you over the telephone. And so we're going, and then we'll have to work out the logistics of transferring information and some of these files that they're going to need to have and those sorts of things. And so it's not going to be probably as easy this summer as it's been in years past, but I have a lot of faith in Marisa, Naomi, and Aaron that they're going to be able to make sure that you guys still get the best service that you can. Any luck, Aaron?
For some reason, it's not allowing me to share the questionnaire, but that's okay. We'll move on with that.
I think I have the questionnaire, so how about I share my screen?
Yep, go ahead and do that. So this process will start by you getting in touch with either Naomi or Marisa, at which point they'll share the questionnaire. Dylan's also going to post a link that you can access the questionnaire, and this will give you an idea of the kind of information that we need in order to put together an estate plan. Now, when we're putting together an estate plan, the key document that we're going to be focused on will be a last will and testament. And so think of this simply as a list of instructions on how you want your property to be distributed after you've passed away. Now, we want to take into consideration specific types of property that you own. Specifically, we need to treat any trust allotment carefully and with specificity. And so if you're able to gather information regarding your allotment numbers, that would be helpful. If you're not able to access that information, then the interns will be working with Dan Viss, and we'll have Dan jump on in just a bit and talk about the information you're needed to gather from his office on dealing with trust allotments and with IIM accounts. So we'll need to address those in the will, but on a larger context, we'll also need to take into consideration other property that you own. So if you have deed information regarding your real property, you'll need to bring that in so we can deal with real estate specifically. If you have any specific items of personal property, household items, family heirlooms, works of art, or anything like that, make sure you bring in that information to share with the intern. But if you just look at this, if you start it with the questionnaire, we're looking for personal information and family information first, information regarding yourself, marital status, and your children. Dylan, if you want to scroll that down to the next page, if you're able to. Okay, so we're asking for children information, and then if you'll look at the bottom of the second page, this is where we're going to start looking for information regarding your trust allotment. So we'll need the allotment number. We're also asking whether there's any encumbrances or restrictions associated with property. So there may be a property that's held that's not trust property, but may be held in a different type of trust, or that is subject to an easement or something like that. Basically, we want you to bring in as much information as possible regarding your real estate. And if you're not able to gather all of that information, that's understandable. As part of the process, we'll guide you and help you gather the relevant information. Of most importance, and I'll have Dan speak on this in a bit, is getting the information regarding your trust allotment and your IIM account. Other things to consider, and you can go ahead and stop the share on this, and I'll just talk about other information, Dylan. So when you are putting together your will, again, think of this as a set of instructions on how property will be distributed when you pass away. Somebody's got to actually carry out those instructions. That person is called a personal representative. And so you'll need to think through who you want to name as a personal representative. They'll be in charge of making sure the instructions in your will are carried out. Also, for those of you that have children under the age of 18, you're able to designate a guardian for minor children in your will. So you'll need to think through who you want to act as a legal guardian for your child in the event that something happens to you or your spouse while a child is under the age of 18. And then we'll also have a conversation with you about whether that you want an inheritance going to a child to be held in trust for the benefit of that child until they reach a certain age. So rather than having an 18 or a 19-year-old inherit property, we might have that property held in trust until they reach age 25, in which case you'll need to think through who you want to act as a trustee. So all of that information is going to be laid out in the questionnaire. Now, we also do some other types of documents. We're going to be doing powers of attorney. And the purpose of a power of attorney is to appoint a substitute decision maker in the event that you're not able to make decisions for yourself. So we're planning for the possibility of incapacitation. You'll appoint a power of attorney who will be able to make decisions for you. Now, the two kinds of powers of attorney that we'll do are a financial power of attorney and a healthcare power of attorney. So if you're unable to make financial decisions for yourself, you'll appoint somebody who can make those decisions for you. And you'll need to think through who you want to act in that capacity on your behalf. And then the same with healthcare. So if you're unable to make your own healthcare decisions, you can name a power of attorney who can make those decisions for you. And then the final document we're going to be doing is an advanced healthcare directive called a living will. And the purpose of that document is to provide instruction to your healthcare providers, letting them know what type of treatment you want to receive. If you're in a situation where you've got a terminal condition, and if you were to be put on life support, it would only serve to prolong your life on an artificial basis. And there's some choices you have regarding the type of healthcare treatment you want to receive in that situation. And so that would be the basic plan we would be putting together. We would be doing a will, we'd be doing powers of attorney, both healthcare and financial powers of attorney, and we'd be doing the living will. The process is going to start with you getting in touch with an intern. You'll be provided a questionnaire at that point. We ask you to do your best on the questionnaire. If there's information you don't know, that's fine. Just fill it out to the best of your ability. Return it to the intern. At that point, they'll be scheduling an initial meeting with you. And depending on how we're able to do this, as Dylan mentioned earlier, that might be a phone meeting, or it might be a Zoom meeting or some kind of online meeting, or it might be an in-person meeting. At which point the interns will be meeting with you and taking the information that you've provided and tailoring that to the specific documents and asking you follow-up questions and gathering any other needed information that they need in order to complete those documents. At that point, they're going to draft documents that they'll share with me. I will then review those documents and make sure that everything is in order and that they're accomplishing your individual goals. And after you've had a chance to finalize those documents, there will be one final meeting where you'll meet in person with the intern and probably myself, and we'll be signing final documents. So we'll do a final review and then we'll be signing those documents. These documents require a notary, and some also require witnesses. So we'll go through that whole process once the documents have been finalized and we're ready to sign. So that's what's going to be involved. We're hoping to serve as many of you as possible. So We're glad to help facilitate and provide this service. Please share this with your friends or anybody that you know might be interested in putting together an estate plan. At this point, I think what I'd like to do is have Dan Viz introduce himself and talk about his role with the Office of Special Trustee and how he can help facilitate gathering information that's going to be useful in putting together these estate plans.
Hey, just want to make sure everybody can hear me. I've got my phone and my computer both. Okay. So my name is Dan Viss, and I'm the fiduciary trust officer for both Nez Perce and Coeur d'Alene tribes. And typically I'm based out of Lapway, although I'm currently based out of Moscow, working from home. So with regard to what I've seen in the past, I think the best thing that you can bring to the interns to help get them started is your IIM statement. And those come on a quarterly basis. The most recent one was completed, it should have been the end of April. So you should have recently received an IIM statement. That IIM statement is going to include information regarding the most recent transactions in your IIM account for the last 3 months. It will also include a list of your allotments, and it will also include a list of the individuals who are leasing your allotments. So a lot of good information in there that can be used for the interns to prepare your wills. The other information that we can provide, and this is going to depend on an individual basis, what you may want. Some individuals want to know certain things about the allotments that they're looking at in order to decide how best to distribute those through their will. So some of the things that we can also help you with is finding out where is the land actually physically located on the reservation. So if you need information regarding that, you can contact our office and we can help find that for you and send you information regarding the location. We can also send you an aerial photo if need be to help you see what kind of land it is. Is it farmland? Is it timbered? That sort of thing. We can also, if you would like, get you information regarding how much income is produced by your land over a number of years, just so you have an idea if you want to decide, okay, I want to try and even out the income between my heirs, how much income is produced by this particular allotment versus this one over here. We can give you that information. Additional things that we can give you is information on who's leasing the allotment, which is going to show up on your IIM statement. And then also, we should be able to give you information with regard to who you inherited the property from. Sometimes there's a desire to keep it within a certain family line. So if you would like information on that, we can get you that as well. Other information we can provide is a list of co-owners on that allotment. So there's various things that we can provide you to help you make a decision as to how you want to distribute your allotments. So just feel free to contact our office at OST. We're currently not in the office, but we're still available by phone. And my phone number, I'll give you my phone number, is 208-621-4835. And you can call that number and it'll reach me here. And once we do get back in the office, you'd be able to reach me there as well. But that's any other information you'd like, just feel free to contact us and we'll try and work with you and with the interns to get that information so that you can prepare your will in the way that you would like to see it happen. I think that's all I have, unless somebody has any questions on that.
Thanks, Dan. The thing I wanted to mention was that, when I went to have my will done, one of the things I thought about was, holy smokes, this is a lot of really sensitive information, family information, information about all my things, about all my property, and information about my family, those sorts of things. And so I just want to point out that any information that you share with either the intern or with Aaron will be covered by attorney-client privilege and will be kept strictly confidential as between you and them. They will not be providing that information to anyone else without your express permission. And so hopefully that can make you feel a little bit more confident that even though we're talking about sharing some fairly sensitive information, that in the end it's for a good reason to make sure that you guys have the best estate planning documents that you can have, and you can feel comfortable that it'll be kept in confidence. Aaron, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, just to kind of follow up on what you just mentioned. So everything will be covered by attorney-client privilege. Everything will be kept confidential. But the quality of your estate plan is going to depend on the quality of information that you provide to the interns and to myself. And so these plans, they can be quite complicated. And some of the information that we need to gather is complicated. And so we need to know as much as we can about your financial situation and about your family situation so that we can best serve you. So I hope that helps. And just assuring you that we're asking for this information for a good reason, and with the ultimate goal of putting together a high quality estate plan to help achieve your objectives after you've passed away. The other thing that I didn't mention is if you have done any estate planning in the past, we're going to ask that you bring in your prior estate planning documents. So if we're updating any old documents or redoing an old estate plan, we need to know that. And we'd ask you that you'd also bring in those old estate planning documents so we know what it is we're updating. And then after we've updated documents and we've got new documents, we'll have you destroy the old documents just so everything's clear as to which documents are valid and we're all operating from.
And that's even for, Aaron, that's even if they did not complete those documents. So if they had gotten maybe halfway through the process last summer or something like that.
Sure. So if you initiated this process with a prior intern and you didn't complete it and you want to finalize that, then let us know. But again, all of this, we'll help you. If you're not able to gather all the information that you need, we'll help you through that process. The interns will be able to guide you through that process. Dan's going to be available to help provide some information, and I'll also be available to find information. So like I said, the more information, the better information we have, the better able we are to help you with your estate planning objectives. So I'm excited. I've done this before. I supervised the interns last summer with both the Coeur d'Alene tribe and the Nez Perce tribe, and I'm excited to be able to do it again. And we're hoping to be able to serve as many of you as we can. So please make liberal use of these interns. It's a great program.
Great. Dylan, do we think that is that it, or what do you?
Yep. I'm going to share the contact information one more time.
All right.
So again, for those of you that are Nez Perce tribal members, your point of contact is going to be Marisa Sayet City. Here's her phone number and her email address, 208-791-0500. And her email address, that phone will be activated on June 1st. And so if you need to get in touch with Marisa before June 1st, the best way to get in touch with her is going to be by email at willsintern@nezperce.org. And I believe that she will be getting access to that by this Friday. And so she'll be able to start getting in touch with you as soon as Naomi and Marisa are about to start their training over the next couple of days. And so once that's done, then they will both become available. So again, if Nez Perce tribal members, your point of contact is Marisa. Coeur d'Alene tribal members, maybe, there we go. Your point of contact is going to be Naomi, and her email address is going to be the best way to get in touch with her for now. And her email address is cdaestateplanning@gmail.com. And she has access to that email address right now. And so if anybody on the Coeur d'Alene Reservation would like to start working with Naomi. She is going to be available pretty much immediately. And the one thing that they will probably be sharing with you first is going to be the intake form that Aaron shared with you, and let you guys start to fill that information out, and then they can schedule the follow-up meetings from there. So with that, thank you, everybody. We really look forward to another great summer working with tribal members, and we're really grateful for the opportunity to help out.